Hi guys, Spartan765. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between three World War II era bolts out of a gun. This one is a Mosin-Nagant Bolt. This is a Mauser Bolt. This is a Swiss K31 Bolt. We're going to go over the simplicity and ease to maintain, take apart, disassemble, and reliability. First of all, if any true military bolt, or really almost any true military weapon, should not need any tools to take it apart. Well, to take the barrel out of the stock, you could need a tool for that, but to disassemble the main parts like the bolt, trigger group, etc., you should not need any tools to do so. This here is a tool. This is used for the Mosin-Nagant Bolt, but you don't actually have to use the tool. This just makes it easier. I'll explain what that is for later. First, we're going to go over to the disassembly of the Mosin-Nagant Bolt. Mosin-Nagant Bolt is probably, out of both of these two bolts here, the most rugged and, well, probably the most reliable. Being that it's loose, it can get some dirt in it and stuff, and it's not going to jam up. But the firing pin hole is a little oversized. It worked for snipers in World War II, and they seem to do pretty good with it. So it's a very, very nice bolt, very reliable. As you can see, crude machining right there on the connector. That's about the only part in the bolt where there is crude machining. Now to disassemble the bolt, take the cocking piece, just twist it, pull the bolt head and the connector bar off. It just comes apart like that. Now this is the tricky part to disassemble this bolt, which is kind of a pain. You gotta push down and then just twist this off. The twist on. Okay. Fairly complicated bolt. I mean, easy to take apart, but I mean being complicated is it's threaded. The cocking piece is threaded onto the firing pin. Now to reassemble. Take the firing pin, mainspring, insert back into the bolt body, push down, and it does take quite a bit of force. I grab it by the hand here. Okay. There you go. The bolts put back together here this far. Now, here's where the tool comes in. To get the right firing pin depth, well, I'll do it without using the tool first. To twist this here, you can just use your connecting bar, rotate it, put it together like this. Okay, now here's your firing pin. That should not, you don't want that sticking out so far, you don't want it sticking out not enough. Most people, like I just know, I can tell just by looking at it. But this is where the tool comes in handy if you can't tell. There's two notches here, or two measuring notches, this one, this one. This one, it has to be touching the pin, this one, it shouldn't be touching the pin. That's a good way to, that's the way you can tell. Here it doesn't touch the pin, still touches the pin. That means it needs to go down more. Or you could also use the tool. Let me go back. And a just good rule of thumb with this is it should be about flush with this here. It's also another easier way to tell. Reassemble. And look at it. Passes. Then recock it just like that. There you go. That bolt's really easy to take apart. But then here you got your Mauser bolt. In order to be able to take this one apart, you need to have it in the gun and put the safety to the upper position here as shown. If you don't do this, you can't take the bolt apart very easily. But to take the bolt apart when it's like this, extremely simple. Just push in on this little locking knob right here. Just rotate, just screw it off. Screw the bolt plug off like so, along with the entire firing pin, mainspring, and cocking piece. There. Now to take the extractor off here, you don't really ever need to do that, but you just push down on this and move it up here onto here and then push it off. Okay, now to take this one apart, just much the same way. You just push down, rotate. There you go. Take the safety off. Pretty simple to take apart. Not as complicated as the Mosin-Nagant Bolt. Put it back together, just like so. The thing with these is you got to be careful so you don't bend the firing pin. You want to push straight down on the firing pin. Put it back together. Just put it in there. Screw it back together. There, now it's ready to put back in the gun. Very, very, very reliable, accurate bolt here. The only problem is if you get a ton of dirt in this thing, it's not going to function. If you get it all, it won't function as easily. It will still function though. Machining on this, there is no crude machining marks, but there's also not 100% fine. Well, it's pretty good. There's not like here that you can see mild machining marks like right here and then here, but overall it's sanded. But those are just mild ones. They did some coarser sanding on. Next we move to the Swiss K31 Bolt. Very, very, probably the nicest out of all of them. Very easy to operate. Probably not as, I don't know, on reliability, probably not as reliable as the Mosin-Nagant. But it's a very accurate bolt, one of the most accurate military rifle bolts ever made. To disassemble this one, pull your cocking piece to the back of the bolt plug like so. See? Then, just rotate, locking sleeve, pull the cam follower off. Then, rotate your cylinder by holding the extractor until that pops off. Pop the cylinder out, locking sleeve, cocking piece, grab your bolt plug, rotate your cocking piece to the fire notch, push down on your mainspring, pull off your firing pin, mainspring, cocking piece, bolt plug. Very, 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 very simple bolt to take apart if you know how to do it. Very fast to take apart. No tools required for adjusting anything. No, this is probably actually the simplest bolt to take apart because you don't need to have it in the gun to set it to take it apart. And you don't need a tool to measure firing pin depth or anything like that. So this is probably the most simple, easiest, most efficient bolt to take apart and reassemble. Reassemble your bolt. Insert the cocking piece into the bolt plug to the firing position. You don't want it in the safety position because it's just harder to push down the spring. Put it in the fire position. Put your mainspring on. Grab your firing pin here. See how there's a notch in it? Push down on your mainspring, put your firing pin on. Pretty easy to do. Then take your cylinder, throw that in there. Whoops, I'm going too fast. Put your cylinder inside your locking sleeve. Oh yeah, to get the extractor off this one, just hit it off with a hammer. But I'm not going to do that because that's not a part of field stripping. Just put it back on like this. Then you need to pull your bolt or cocking piece back, lock it on into place, rotate your cylinder so it's about lined up here with where the cam follower goes. Locate your locking sleeve so it's right above there. Take your cam follower, put it in the guide. Well, yeah, you just go like this, pull it back so it's in this notch up here. Just hold it so nothing goes apart. Rotate to the fire position. Then just put it back in the gun and you're ready to go. Very, very reliable bolt. Firing pin hole is very small, just enough for the firing. I will illustrate that here as very small firing pin hole. Allows just enough for the pin to get through. That's one of the features in this bolt that makes it the ability to obtain the best amount of accuracy out of than the other bolts. But these are all very, very good bolt design. Got any questions, comments, send me a message. Probably subscribe out.